Okay. Got this dang tickle in my throat this week. Not fun. All right, let's roll. Hey, you guys. This is Andrea with From Mrs. to Ms. We have a special guest in the house today. I want you all to meet Andre Paradis. Welcome to the show, Andre. I'm happy to have you.
I'm so glad to be here. I think we're gonna have a really fun conversation. I just
I,
have that feeling.
when you start out saying that, I'm all in. I'm like, let's go, let's go. So, you guys, I'm going to give you a little rundown here on Andre, just so you know what's up. He went from stripper to dynamic relationship coach.
Hello.
Enough said. No, I'm
Hello.
just kidding.
Okay, hang up the
Hello.
phone. Drop the mic.
So Andre is coming from a fast life of easy sex, and he never would have expected to end up as a relationship coach. It was exactly this lifestyle, however, that led him to realize the danger of what it could be to do to himself and others in the realm of relationships.
Ooh,
I know. So
ooh.
through a long journey of self-discovery and education, it has become his mission to help others create and maintain long-lasting and loving relationships. Welcome.
Thank you. That's quite an intro.
I could have stopped
Sometimes
at
I
the
go,
stripper to dynamic.
Sometimes I go, who's that guy? Who are you talking about? Oh, wait, it's me.
That's
Oh,
me. That's
interesting.
me. I
Anyway,
love it. Okay,
yep.
so let's start at the beginning. The cat's out of the bag. So
All right.
you were a stripper that turned into a dynamic relationship coach. This is fascinating to
Well,
me.
okay, so just to clear the record,
Hmm.
I was trained commercial jazz dancer. I was a professional dancer.
Okay, okay,
So
okay,
now I was trained in Canada. I was trained for years and years because we had better training there than we did here. So my
okay.
mission was always to get trained and come to Los Angeles,
Yeah,
and become part of the business, right? In
yeah.
those days, TV commercials, music videos, like movies, TV shows, all that stuff. That was the machine of the business in Los
Hmm.
Angeles. You have to be in Los Angeles though if you're gonna make some money, not
Sure.
in Canada. What I mean? It's gonna be
Yeah.
a hobby. Anyway, so my goal was I train and I train and I train
Okay.
for many, many years. And then the goal was to move to Los Angeles somehow.
Yes.
Somehow. I'm not legal, I'm Canadian, but anyway,
Yes.
like I was gonna do that. Anyway, so part of the business of dancing and the commercial dancing world is every studio has guest teachers coming through the summer for summer programs, some new energy, some new style, some new choreography, right? So there's a whole
Hmm.
circuit going on around the United States and Canada and everywhere really, where like the dance business in the summer is guest teachings and traveling. So one of the guys who used to come up to us all the time
Hmm.
became a good friend because I was always assisting him when he was in town. He asked me one time, this is a couple of years into our knowing each other, he goes, I'm doing my demo reel in Los Angeles because he lived here, right? Demo reel, like actors have their demo reel. So
Yeah.
dancers, choreographers do the same thing. So they put stuff on videotape to produce, to introduce to the industry with their agent. So he goes, I'm doing my demo reel. He says, I really want you to be down there to help me. You're going to be dance captain, have all the dancers, but I want you to be the dance captain, which is the guy in
Okay.
charge of, right. All right.
Yeah.
He goes, look, come down for a couple of weeks. It'll be a vacation in LA, and then you'll be helping me out, stay at my house, blah, blah, blah. So, okay, 2 weeks in LA, that works, right? I'm going to
Yeah.
help him. So I come down with my girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
And so we started rehearsing. We got into Los Angeles Thursday evening.
Okay.
So the Friday we kind of gathered at the studio where we had rehearsal, but I found out that in the studio Saturday night there was a party for dancers. So all the people, industry people, dancers like me or that I want to be part of, there's a
Hmm.
party at the studio. So I'm like, wow, this is where you get to LA, right? So
Yeah, perfect.
I'm in the room, I'm dancing with my girl. So I Saturday night, we're in LA, vacation, whatever,
Like those
right?
moves.
Thank you. Woo,
Woo,
woo.
woo.
Anyway, so again, and then everybody's 25 years old. Everybody's young, right? There's like 200 or 300 of us just
Hmm.
doing dancing and having fun. But at one point, I looked to my left, and this is my girl, and it's this old guy, doesn't belong there, right? 50
Hmm.
plus,
Hmm.
and he's looking at me.
Okay.
Hmm. And every time I turn around, he's looking at me. And then I
Okay.
realized, and then I went, oh, okay, so we're in LA. I got it. Okay, fine. Whatever. I'm just saying, right?
Yeah, sure.
So a minute later, my buddy who asked me to come down, the two of them are now talking, looking
Hmm.
at me and obviously talking about me.
Okay.
And I'm like, really? Like, really?
Yeah,
Right?
what's
Like,
going
I'm with my
on?
girlfriend.
Yeah.
He knows this and he's gay, but I'm not, right? Anyway, so
Mm-hmm.
now these
Mm-hmm.
two again, okay. And then he waits me over.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, what the hell is wrong with him?
Yeah.
Right? So in those days, I was still polite. So I kind
Sure.
of went over there sideways, right? Introduced me to the guy, and I just literally turned my head when I shook his hand, right? Like, just like, what, dude? What? I don't know why we're here.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so my buddy went in the back of the studio, he grabs me by the elbow. There was an
Mm-hmm.
exit door to my left, and he throws me out the door into the parking lot. He goes, um, okay, listen here, idiot. He goes,
Uh-huh.
"This is Steve Merritt. He's looking for a dancer for his national show, and he can't find anybody to replace a guy that he lost a few months ago, and he
Mm-hmm.
likes you. How about you say hi to Steve, you idiot?"
You're
I,
like, nope.
oh, okay, that's a different story.
Yeah.
So I go back inside, meet Steve.
Yeah.
So he
And
goes, yeah, I've been auditioning around Los Angeles for 4 months. I lost one of my guys.
mm-hmm.
I can't find anybody to replace him. You're exactly what I'm looking for. What do you say?
You say
What?
yes.
Well, no, like it's, my own Hollywood story, by the way, my own very
Uh-huh.
Hollywood story. 2 days in town, I
Mm-hmm.
get I get picked out in a freaking
Mm-hmm.
party. Really? So, and
That's
so then
everybody's dream, though, isn't it? That's the
I
way
know,
people
but
think it's going to happen.
it did.
It did.
Anyway, so I'm like, what? He goes, yeah. I says, what's the show? He goes, oh, it's Chippendales.
Mm,
I'm like, and like dancers, like actors, like female dancers as well, could be very snooty.
okay.
Like they're very because people think we're loose or people because they think the girls will just like take their clothes off on any shoot. They're like, oh, but like women, girl dancers are not strippers; they're professional, right? So they get
Yeah.
very offended, and people assume all kinds of shit, right? So that's what happened to me. I'm like, I'm no stripper. I'm a commercial jazz, professional jazz dancer, contemporary.
Yeah.
And he's like, I know, I get it. I see you. He goes, I'm in the business. He says, but how much money are you making being a professional commercial jazz this month? I'm like, well, I don't live here. And he goes, yeah. He goes, so you're not gonna be a stripper. There's 6 strippers in the show, but I
Uh-huh.
need dancers who are trained who look like strippers. You are exactly what I'm looking for because I have the frame. I have
Perfect.
the frame. I have the hair. I have the butt because I work out
Mhm.
5 days a week, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Now that makes
Uh-huh.
sense, right?
Uh-huh.
So that
Uh-huh.
was my first professional job. So
Wow.
this was Saturday night. He came to see me in rehearsal Sunday to dance professionally, right, as a
Okay.
dance captain, and he stood there in the window. There was a viewing window in the studio. He showed up in the black Corvette Saturday, Sunday morning. Looks to the window 5 minutes. He goes, we start tomorrow. What do you say?
Just like that.
Rehearsal tomorrow, like in a catnap in Venice. You ready? And I'm like, oh, and I'm like, but he goes, we'll work it out.
Yeah.
But we'll work it out. And sure enough, this is what it started. So 3 weeks later, I'm on the road, and my first professional job making money. So I work with Chippendales, dance with Chippendales, but
Yeah.
it was not a stripper in a G-string putting dollars in my crotch. So
I sure you ruined my image now of what was going
sorry,
on.
sorry. There was
All
all of
right.
that, just not with me.
So do I need to start over from commercial jazz professional dancer to dynamic
But
relationship coach?
to this day, right? My first job was Chippendales. All right.
Yeah, got you where you are. So how did you now fall into the relationship coach stuff?
All right. So my entire life I've been about exploring, self-exploring, always looking to. I'm a very curious natural brain. I want to
Mhm.
know everything. I want to know everything. I want to know everything. If you're a specialist in something and you're passionate about it, I'm listening, right?
Yeah.
So I was doing personal development workshops from 23 years old on. I was always in the damn workshop before like they
Okay.
were popular. My friends are like, you're doing what? That's so weird. We're going to the beach. I'm like, yeah, go have fun.
Yeah.
I'm learning something. But I had a lot of challenges, like stuff with childhood, my family, self-esteem,
Yeah.
who am I, all that stuff. So I was always digging and digging and digging. So that's my personality. So within all that, I was always challenging and pushing and learning. That's just my
Mhm.
brain. So
Mhm.
when I was on the road, how much fun that was because it was sex, drugs, rock and roll, and women. Like that's all we did. You have no responsibilities. They have no responsibilities. They're paying for
Wow.
everything and taking you everywhere. And like all you do is, we train, we go tan, we do
Yeah.
the show, and we have fun.
Yeah.
And the next day you do it again, and the next day you do it again. And it's very interesting. And this is what kind of I realized the danger of the show business.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also why I get to be this guy, is
Mm-hmm.
that, believe it or not, there's such a thing as having too much fun.
Okay.
And I
Let's
want to
hear it.
explain
Mm-hmm.
because, like I said, I was a new guy on the block, right? So
Mm-hmm.
some of the guys have been doing this for like years. And the alpha male of the group, like the one that looked like Thor, right? He
Mm-hmm.
looked like Thor. He had the Thor hair. He was tan. He was big. He was beautiful. The one that the women like lust after the most. He was the king
Yeah.
of the show. Had
Yeah.
been doing it for 5 years, and it was Kevin. Well, you know, we spend all our time on the bus. We all stay on the same floors, in the hotels, right? So we're
Yeah.
always the 13 of us, the crew and us, together all
Mm-hmm.
the time. So you get to know people. You listen to them speak, right? That's
Yeah.
my favorite thing to do,
Yeah.
right? And Kevin was damaged forever with what the business and that kind of lifestyle did to him,
Oh.
right? He's a guy who could never ever trust a woman
Mm-hmm.
because the women that came at us all day long, young,
Mm-hmm.
old, black, white, purple, all the colors and all the variety, they all would do anything to get to us. Like
Mm.
and when we used to have conversation about we are the only people who know women because they say they want honesty, they say they want the truth, and look at them act. Look at what they
Yeah.
do. Look
Yeah.
how vicious they are with each other. Look how like all right. So like we used to have this conversation on the bus. Like this is like we know women. They everything else they say is a lie because
Yeah.
we see it live every day.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Totally.
he started saying stuff like, they're all whores and and I'm like, okay, well, that's a little bit harsh, right? But again,
Mm-hmm.
that was his life of 5 years. So
Yeah.
within about a year and a half of this on the road with sex, rock and roll, drugs, women, sex, rock and roll, drugs, women, sex, rock and roll, drugs, women, and part of the dangerous part that I never saw that coming, that
Mm-hmm.
when life is fun,
Mm-hmm.
because we don't work. This is we're playing, we're eating, we're having sex, and we're doing drugs. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
We go to sleep. We have to be at the bus in the morning. Whenever the bus leaves, that's it. That's the only
Yeah.
responsibility. They're paying for everything,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's fun.
Yeah.
It's really fun. But guess what?
What?
What happens is you get used to that level of fun,
Yeah.
and now that's normal.
Right.
So in order to have fun, oh, you got to up
You
it,
gotta up it. Mm-hmm.
right? And then up it, and
Yep.
then up it,
Raise the
and up
ante.
it. And this is why
Yep.
celebrities get where they get to with the rehab and the drugs and the perversion is
Mm-hmm.
because they can't go in public, they
Mm-hmm.
can't be themselves, they can't go to the mall, they can't go to the park, right? So they're always
Mm-hmm.
hiding into somebody else's house or
Mm-hmm.
their own houses,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then of course the homies show up and the homies bring
Mm-hmm.
the hookers and the drugs. They have nothing to do for months at a time. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
can't live really. They can't be in public. Like it's a terrible, but
Yeah.
the fun, right? Tick, tick, tick.
Yep.
So I saw myself starting to get twisted in
Okay.
that because you have to up it,
Sure.
right? And then when I first joined the group, Kevin had been in it for 5 years, so he was like, and
Mm.
he
Yeah.
thought it was really really fun to blow the new guy's mind with the shit
Mm-hmm.
that he could show me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And sometimes I
Yep.
get a knock on my door because we're always on the same floor. And it was his roommate going, "Hey, Kevin wants to show you something." And I'm not even going to say the things that I saw. I can't
Mm-hmm.
even say him, even to adult audience. Like, but that's the level he was at. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So that was funny. He's like, "Oh, he's trying to shock me." And I'm like, it was hysterical. But anyway, my point is within about a year plus,
Mm-hmm.
the first time I heard coming out of my mouth, they're all whores
Mm-hmm.
because that's all we saw
That's all you saw. Now, are you
all
referring
day.
to, just let me interrupt you there for a second. Are you referring to women that are just coming to the show to see the show? Or are you talking about like the groupies that are like hanging with you everywhere, doing the
All
drugs,
of
all that
it.
stuff with you? All of
Because
it.
you don't understand because it was advertised in the paper 6 weeks before we got in town, right? That's
Yeah.
before the internet really. So like was advertised we're coming. We always had free passes to the workouts places. Like we paid for nothing because they knew
Yeah.
we were coming. So the gyms would like welcome us with open arms because people
Sure.
would go crazy, right? And the same with the tanning salon and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a free for all. So everywhere we went, we got
Yeah.
crazy action,
Yeah.
crazy attention, crazy action. I'm gonna say again, crazy action,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like 3 times a day action. Do you understand what I'm
Wow.
saying?
I do.
In the
Wow.
gym, in the fucking restaurant, at
Anywhere.
the hotel, right? Because they know who we are. And
Yeah.
then every woman coming at us is one of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
Married, about to get married, bachelorette party, 3 kids at home,
They didn't care.
waitress at the restaurant, don't care. In the car, in the
Wow.
closet, right? Like seriously, just like a fucking
That's
porn star,
unbelievable. Yeah.
like movie shit you see in porn movies. It's not real life. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So everyone, every age,
Yeah.
everywhere, inside, outside our realm, everybody coming at us is that
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
young, old, purple, black, all day long,
Yeah.
all day long. The moment you
And
get
you
up,
guys are just going with it because that's your lifestyle and that's what you're used
right,
to. And you're kind of playing a part, right?
right. It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have to do no effort. They just have to
Yeah.
recognize us, and it's on.
Yeah.
Well, as a kid's in the candy store, sure. But I'm
Yeah.
telling you, the moment that words came out of my mouth,
Mm-hmm.
they're all whores. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sounding like Kevin. And I knew he was twisted for life. This guy could
Yeah.
never have a relationship, could never trust a woman ever. I mean, like he's 5 years of this madness.
Right.
You know what I mean? And all whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I knew. I had to quit. I had to quit. I
You're
discovered with all this that I'm actually pretty traditional.
done.
I'm very traditional. I look like this, but I'm very traditional. Like I
Uh-huh.
have values. I wanted a wife and kids.
Yeah.
I wanted to be, I want traditional lifestyle. And I knew if
Sure.
I stuck around,
You'd never get
done,
there.
done.
Yeah.
So I quit. And the guys are like,
Just
the
like that.
hell, what is wrong with you, dude? It's the best job in the world. I'm like, yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
You go have fun. I go,
Yeah.
where's Kevin going to put his resume when he gets off the road in what, 7 years, 8 years?
Mm-hmm.
Like I was a stripper for Chippendales for like 9 years. Like
Right.
that's impressive resume, dude. What the hell?
Yeah.
I go, no, I have to get back to my life. I was a dancer. You don't train on the road, so you like you felt that could slipping away, that you
Mm-hmm.
timing, right? Your strength and
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff. Because we're athletes, right? You got to keep
Yep.
that stuff up. So I had to go home, and I quit. And they thought I was mad, and I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
you be you. So I went home. And this when I got settled in Los Angeles. I got an agent. I started auditioning.
Mm-hmm.
And within, no time, I was working because I was
Mm-hmm.
talented.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It took me to Michael Jackson, Prince, Paula Abdul, Julio Iglesias. I worked with the masters. I ended up working with the 1%.
Oh,
I
amazing.
made it from Canada all the way to the top.
I
Boom.
love it.
Interesting.
And then
Right.
what?
Who am I? Who am I? But within all this, right? Like I
Mm-hmm.
said, that's the road showed me what's dangerous. The road showed me how not to live. The road showed me how, discipline and sense of directions and traditional value. This is what I was
Mm.
realized that I needed to be. I wanted to be. Like this
Yeah.
madness was fun, but like I said, Kevin is screwed. Kevin is,
Yeah.
I think Kevin after the road he ended up doing porn,
Oh,
and
wow.
from what I hear now, he's dead. Of course. Where do you go?
Oh.
Like that's not
Mhm.
me. I'm not an idiot. That's why a lot of
Yeah.
celebrities drop dead from drug doses and crazy fucking lifestyle.
Yeah.
This is completely fucking madness, but they're so glamorous, right?
Yeah.
They're miserable. They're absolutely fucking miserable. I've been around all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, like Michael's dead now, right? Prince
Mm-hmm.
is dead. They're too way,
Mm-hmm.
way early, right? They don't live to be 75,
Totally.
80 years old. You know what I mean? So like that, there's a reason for this. I was in it, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the more traditional I became, the more getting my shit together had to do. And so I did the business for 15 years. I
Okay.
traveled the world, I choreographed, I performed, I taught, but always seeking out information, always seeking out getting my life together, seeking out my best life. I want to be successful, and
Mm-hmm.
that did this with dancing. Met my wife because you teach, you perform, you go on the road, you come back, you teach.
Mm-hmm.
It's very easy to fill up a dance class when you just got off the road with Michael Jackson.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
so there's a whole machine of that, right? There's the ongoing machine of teaching, performing, going away, coming back, teaching, performing, going away, coming back, teaching, performing, going away. Oh, TV commercial. Oh, movie set. Oh, no,
Mm.
whatever.
Yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. So in my dance class, I had actually, because of the life on the road, I was actually looking for the one.
Mm-hmm.
I'd done all of that. I did all of that. I did it. I did it hard. I did it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I was done with that. Like
Yeah.
the mindless, sexual conquering is stupid.
Yeah.
This sounds ridiculous, but I wanted a connection. I wanted somebody I cared about.
Yeah. I
I'm
don't think it's
26.
ridiculous.
No, but I was 26 years old. That doesn't usually happen at 26
Oh
years old.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
You've
So
lived life already.
I got there really quickly. Anyway,
Uh-huh.
so I have my radar up. I was like, I'm teaching dance class with like 45 to 50 young girls all day long,
Mm-hmm.
twice a day. You know what I mean? And so the
Mm-hmm.
radar is like, looking for, except same as on the road.
Mm-hmm.
They're all W's because I live in Los Angeles and it's an
Yeah.
industry, right? So anyway, point is within a few months, my wife walked into space and my knees buckled, my ears got
Mm.
hot, and I knew she was the one.
Oh, just like that.
2 minutes. By the way, it's very
Wow.
common. Men know first. It's
Wow.
very common, very, very, very common. In the work, I've discovered that in my own work now. Men
Yeah.
know first. That's my wife.
Yeah.
My
I
brother
like
said it.
that.
That's my wife. I married her. Like men know this. We have an intuition about. Like, we know. We
Yeah.
recognize. You don't really trust your intuition, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of like, well, let's just see who he is, right? No, he knew. Like
Nope.
we knew right away. So anyway, 30 years later, she's still my baby.
Ah.
So anyway, that was so in that. Now I'm living the traditional life,
Uh-huh.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I we decided we wait a few years because we're both she's a ballerina, so we're both the
Mm-hmm.
performers, and sometimes we cross in the air going to Asia. It's crazy. Like I'd be coming back, she'd be going. Like
Oh,
cross
wow.
in the air the same
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Right. So we lived the life. We did it.
Okay.
We both did it, but eventually I want to have kids. Right. She's
Mm-hmm.
a ballerina, her hips are this big, so she was
Mm-hmm.
terrified. So it
Yeah.
took 4 years for her to agree to possibly ruin her figure
Right.
changing her career. I mean,
Yeah.
anyway, so when we decided to start a family, I decided to quit traveling because I was not
Mm-hmm.
going to be the absent dad. I'm not going to do if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right, right?
All in.
So I called my agent and said, I'm not leaving town any longer. So unless the work's in town, don't call me. And she's like, are you crazy? And I go, no, I'm getting married. I got married and I'm having kids. And so I'm not leaving town unless
Mm-hmm.
give me the work in the city,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's showbiz, the movies all here, right?
Uh-huh.
Everything's here. I'm not going to Asia any longer. I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
Wow, wow, you're gonna take a choose. Stop. I know. I'm just
Uh-huh.
announcing to you. Well, she was bummed because she was gonna make money anymore, right? That's
Sure.
really what I get it. I get it.
She didn't
What are
care.
you doing? Stop it.
Yeah.
Anyway. So when I did, I opened a business, a car business in Los Angeles to keep myself grounded. So I
Okay.
was grounded,
Mm-hmm.
and I could, as a boss, I could go and do whatever job I wanted to do, and
Mm-hmm.
because I was local, but
Yeah.
I was always home.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Perfect.
that business, the transition was really quick, like literally from 0 to 60 within. I was at one point, I was working with Paul Abdul like almost every weekend, and
Mm-hmm.
I was working full hours at the shop. So I remember one time I had like 27 days without a day
Uh-huh.
off. I was
Wow.
in business, 9 to 5, no, so 7:30 to 7
Yeah.
at the business, and it's
Yeah.
Friday night, Friday afternoon. I would go to LAX, get on the plane, go wherever somewhere. We'd be working all weekend, fly back Sunday night, and then 7:30,
Wow.
I'm at the shop, right? So, but a credit like Paul Abdul, you don't pass up, right?
You're right.
So, anyway, but
Yeah.
at that point, I had both, and so after a couple of years of this, like nothing was. It wasn't worth it to get on the plane any longer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I kind of quit. There was a quick transition
Yeah.
and focused on my business. So again, personal development, more money,
Mm-hmm.
more know-how, more know-how. Anyway, so I had to raise the ceiling on my business for my knowledge as much as
Mm-hmm.
I could at that point. This was a few years in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to make more money with this business, but I don't quite know how to create, go through the ceiling. So I take a workshop, of course, because that's what I
Yeah.
do.
Right.
So I went flying to San Jose, Northern California, on a
Mm-hmm.
3-day workshop, business workshop about expanding your business, whatever. Okay, that sounds like me, right?
Yeah.
On the flight back, I'm sitting in the same row.
Mm-hmm.
Thought it was random.
Not
I
at
don't,
all.
but I don't. I used to believe life was random. It's no longer.
Okay.
My life is too ridiculously lined perfectly for it to be random. I'm just saying.
Okay. Sure.
So I'm sitting in this row with a couple that I met in the workshop for 3 days. That we kind
Mm-hmm.
of blah blah blah. And the lady says to me, she goes, "What do you do? What are you doing next weekend?"
Uh-huh.
I go, "Next weekend I'm off." Why? She goes, "Do you want to come to a workshop? It's on me." And I'm like, "Of course," because it's
Sure.
I'm learning some shit. I don't even know what it's about, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Like it's free. Those things can be expensive. She's inviting
Sure.
me, right? Okay, sure. And then I go, "Wait, what's the workshop?"
Relationships.
She
No.
goes, "Oh, it's called understanding women."
Oh. You're like, have I got a story for you?
There is such a thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of cute.
Yeah.
But I said I was going to go, so next weekend I went, and I thought it was going to be cute.
Okay.
Now because also my artistic personality, that's what I thought it was. I
Hmm.
always attracted sweet women. I never
Okay.
did the crazy shit my friend did with women. The yelling, the
Hmm.
jealousy, the throwing things. Like you meet my wife, you go, oh, right? But
Hmm.
those are the women I attracted. So I never had trouble with women.
Hmm.
Sounds ridiculous, but but I thought it was me. I thought I was special. I thought that I knew something. But if
Yeah.
you asked me, I had no idea what it was. Now I
And
understand, after learning all this, that women feel safe with me.
mm,
They always have, apparently. So when a
yeah.
woman feels safe, the best
Hmm.
comes out of her. This
True.
is why I never got the madness that my friends did, right? Like, so I didn't, okay, that's interesting, but I had no idea. Anyway, so I go to the workshop thinking it's going to be cute. I remember walking into space. It was a ballroom at one of the hotels by the airport.
Hmm.
There's 400 people in there. And I'm all, not some, like I could tell there's something going on here.
Yeah.
This is not cute.
Yeah.
I sat down. Alison Armstrong was the teacher, her company.
Hmm.
And at the end of the workshop, my brain is all over the wall,
Hmm.
splattered. I slipped off my chair 7 times.
Out
No,
of
you understand?
shock.
Slipped off my chair out of shock,
Yeah.
like mouth open, legs letting go on the floor.
Yeah.
Right. And every time they had one of these big moments, she would stop and goes, just
Hmm.
so you don't think it's me, the crazy woman in the front.
Hmm.
Right. They had us paired up with a woman. They go, check with the lady next to you.
Hmm.
Right. And I just pick myself up and I go, no. And she go, yeah. I'm like, but that doesn't make any sense. She goes, but that's how we are. Right. Like there was I'm like,
Yeah.
so confirming what I just learned was actually fact, looking in her eyes. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's how it occurs for us. I'm like, oh my God, no wonder you're fill in the blank, right?
Yes.
Like, no
Yes.
wonder you're edgy, crazy with, you're out of your mind sometimes that you like take everything personally. Like, duh, no wonder, no wonder, no wonder.
Yeah.
Not so that freaked me out
Yeah.
because I came home. My wife said I was white as a sheet because I was actually upset. Well, at the time, we're married like 8 years. I have a
Yeah.
toddler and a baby,
Hmm.
right? My wife is my angel. Like everything's
Hmm.
fine. Like I'm right. Like I have my family. I have everything I want.
Yeah.
Now, I realize though that first, I knew nothing about women,
Uh-huh.
like nothing,
Hmm.
nothing. Because I'm coming from a male perspective,
Right.
thinking, and then so what that meant is I knew nothing about my wife.
Hmm.
That's too much of a liability. But a brain like
Yeah.
mine, right? Like all my family, my siblings, I have 4 siblings. They're all married and divorced 2, 3 times. One's on 4. Right?
Wow.
I'm not
Yeah.
doing this. I'm not going to be a statistic because I don't know. I didn't know. I
Hmm.
just didn't know. And I realized I didn't know anything.
Hmm.
So that's how the relationship stuff started. I jumped into the company. I took all their workshops, everything. And
Good
then
for
as soon as I
you.
was done with them, I started assisting for free. So I was all weekend working for free. So I wanted to integrate the material, hear it
Yeah.
again, hear it differently, right? The question, like I needed to soak it all up for us. I was
Yep.
just doing it for us, for my family, for me and her and us,
Oh, so it
right?
wasn't even the plan at that time to
No, it
become a
was
coach. Yeah, it
just
was just for you. Hmm.
just so we'd be okay. So
Mm.
it wouldn't be a liability. And so, of course, in a minute, they were putting me on the workshop leader training because I'm a
Hmm.
teacher. This is just
Hmm.
a skip away
By
from what I've
nature.
been doing
Yeah.
my whole life. It's nothing,
Yeah.
just different material.
Sure.
And so that's how it started. So I ended up not
Wow.
finishing with this company. There's too much politics, but this is when I then continued my training. Sean Gray, Mars and Venus, Esther Perel, Love and
Hmm.
Intimacy, Shanti Felhan with Love and Respect, Dr. Pat Allen.
Amazing.
Get this, Dr. Pat Allen, one of the biggest, the the best family child marriage counselor in Los Angeles. I
Uh-huh.
sat with her for
Uh-huh.
3.5 years in a room with 5 other people, and she taught me everything she learned in the past 48 years
Mm.
as a therapist about men, women, the dynamic that like there's the 48 years at the time, I think 45
Wow.
maybe at the
Wow.
time,
Yeah.
one on one almost like us, me and
Wow.
3 other girls,
Yeah.
like in a room every Saturday, learning and soaking that shit in,
Yeah.
right? So my cocktail, like I said earlier, the cocktail of expertise that I have with these masters, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what happened again? I was just hungry. I just can
Mm-hmm.
you can stop me. You can stop every time I realized I didn't know something. I would fall into it. I would fall into it. That expert, that master.
Yeah.
But so I'm relentless. Spent my weekend just doing this, just wanting to be on top of it. And then, of course, people started asking.
Yeah.
Now, for some reason, I'm the guy that people like open up to. Like it's always been. It's always been. Like I'm just standing there. They go, so, what should I do about my girlfriend? Like I'm like,
You're like, what?
did I say something? Right. So, so whatever it is, I was the guy that people would open up to. So much so that as I was doing all this training, I still had the business,
Yeah.
right, in my office. Like my employees, so much so my employees knew that if the office door was closed, it's don't come in, somebody's crying. Because people would spill on
Not
me.
the same as what used to happen in a closed door
Right.
office.
Right. But I mean, they dropped their cars off for me to repair, and all of a sudden they
Yes.
spill their life on me. Like that was the beginning of the pull.
The
My
beginning.
friend started, and random strangers, customers started asking,
Yeah.
and that was and then the caveat, because I'm like, I had all this knowledge, I had all this stuff. It was exploding inside of me. I wanted to share with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I was a business owner with 2 kids, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
working my butt off like 60-hour weeks.
Yeah.
So my father dies,
Mm-hmm.
like just shortly after that.
Mm-hmm.
I fly to Montreal because my whole family's in Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
And we're driving from Montreal to Quebec City in my sister's car. So
Okay.
she's driving. And she's challenged again. Her relationships is number 2 by then, I suppose. I think 3 kids, not working around. So Mr. Right, I'm in the car, blah, blah, blah,
Mm-hmm.
blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah, right? Because she's
Yeah.
asking. So it's a 2.5-hour drive from
Yeah.
Montreal to Quebec City. So it's a long conversation.
Yeah.
And at one point, she said to me, "Oh my God, you should teach this. You're really good at this."
Mm. Boom. You're like, yes, I should.
2009 was a pivot point where I started Project Equinox, and then
Yeah.
started a way to get away from the business, because
Yeah.
this was my mission. This is all I wanted to do. This was I was passionate about. And I knew at that moment, somehow she just had to say it, that this was my life's purpose. My
Mm.
job is to help people with this. All cultures of inside out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything's not working in the time where everybody's got all the freedom in the world to have every choice. It should be easier.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of even out the playing field with men and women, right? Equality
Mm-hmm.
everywhere. That should work better. Look out there. It's the worst.
Yeah.
It's the worst. Everyone is completely baffled and confused because it should work better. It doesn't. Why? That's my work. And there's a very
Wow.
good logical reason why it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So the more you
And
listen to the culture, the less it's going to work. But
yeah.
it's hard to go against the culture because it's like a tidal wave. It just, everybody's got to get swept up into, women are supposed to be equal to men. Well, yeah, equal rights, equal pay, of course. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not a pig. But if
Mm-hmm.
you can approach a man like a man,
Mm-hmm.
Houston ain't going to work. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And when men are toxic and masculinity is toxic and men has to be more sensitive and talk more and vulnerable, that's a girl. First of all, that's unrealistic. And when men are soft, women don't respect them.
Mm-hmm.
So we flip the script. We want women to be badass, boss babes, and guys to shut the hell up and be vulnerable and then talk about their feelings. And
Mm-hmm.
that's happening, except
Yeah.
it's repelling relationship. It's repelling women from men. Women don't like nice guys or
Mm-hmm.
soft men or feminine men. They just don't, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
about.
I've been there.
Like,
Yeah.
they're
That whole
gross.
phrase,
They're
last guy,
gross,
nice
right?
guys finish last,
They
right?
do, but there's a
Yes.
reason for that, because women can't feel safe with those guys. They're
Yeah.
too soft, and if she doesn't feel they can protect her, she can't respect them. So she's
Right.
friend zone. The guys don't understand that. They were told that's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And then when women are masculine and boss babes, and they think man, or you can't tell them what to do, and they refuse to be submissive or do the dance, I call it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Masculine men who exactly are the ones that you want, who provide, protect, cherish, and do everything that men do,
Mm-hmm.
they can't fucking stand you.
Yeah.
They fucking can't stand. I'm sorry to be harsh, but it's like they say, like, they will pick up your energy from like
Mm-hmm.
miles away, and they will purposely avoid you. They don't say hello. They don't say hi. They're not cordial. They
Mm-hmm.
don't do what they do with feminine women, because
Mm-hmm.
that energy is repulsing to them.
Mm-hmm.
It repels them, and they find it. My favorite thing is when women say, "Oh, I intimidate men." Right? I go,
Mm-hmm.
"No, you don't.
Mm-hmm.
You may intimidate boys, but
Mm-hmm.
they're already weak." So yeah, when it comes to men, you're just irritating. You're
And
fucking irritating, and they want nothing to do with you.
do you think that's
But
all of them though? Or is there, I mean, there's some that do like a masculine woman that they're like, they want him to take charge. No, you say it's
not the
all
man,
across the
not the man,
board.
not the man. Now, get this, in my world, this is part of my work. In my world, there's three types of men.
Hmm.
They all look the same. They're completely different in temperament.
Okay.
So again, this is called, there's men who are men, and those are the guys who naturally provide, protect. They're like me, traditional. They do what they have to do. They take care of everyone in their realm. They pay, they provide, protect, cherish, support, help.
Mhm. Love it.
Instinct.
Yeah.
That's what women
It's a
all want.
man. That's a man.
Right. And that's what women
Right.
want, right?
Yeah.
Now, there's a challenge with that because they're not really easy to be with because they're man.
Yes. So then they
So
don't
it's
communicate. They don't,
because they're
they're not
men. They have a
sensitive
different
and
way to do
vulnerable.
everything, right? And they don't want to hear about your
Hmm.
day. They don't want to talk about their day, right? So
Right.
now there's a way to get to close the gap on this. That's my work, right? There's a way to get all of that out of one of those guys. You have to know how to
Hmm.
do it. There's a
Mm.
language and there's a paradigm of respect that is not on your radar, not because you're dumb, because you're a
Yeah.
girl and it doesn't exist on your existence. It doesn't resonate.
Okay.
So you go anyway. So these guys are exactly what you want,
Yeah.
right? So the men are men and they do everything. This is the one that you all want.
Yep.
Traditional, they take care of everything, they protect, provide, you feel safe with them, they're big, they're right, they're no
Hmm.
bullshit, they know you know where they stand, right?
Yep.
But they're a
All
little
the
bit tough.
above.
I get it.
Yeah.
The guys are what I call in the middle. The guys are like men who are manly enough to have a job. They
Hmm.
may not have a car, but it's
Hmm.
all very small. They have a little shitty car. They have a basic job, like right, but they're manly enough that they actually do work, and they
Yes.
do have two or three roommates, right? They're they're not living in mom's basement, is what I'm saying, right? They're
Okay.
handling their lives, but it's a smaller life as a rule, because to get the big life that men produce, they have to have women interested in
Hmm.
that for them to step up.
Hmm.
So guys, per our culture, are masculine enough to be handling their lives to a certain level, but
Hmm.
they've been shamed out of being masculine with women,
Mm.
right?
Interesting. Yeah.
So
Say that one more time for the audience. So,
they're masculine enough to have their lives somewhat together, business, cars, right? Like money,
yes.
roommates, not living
Yes.
depending on the mothers or the parents. However, they've been shamed out of being masculine with women. So they don't ask you out. They don't lean in. They don't say, "You're pretty. Let's go for
Mm.
coffee." They go
Hmm.
so like, so do you want to hang out? So like, do you want to go maybe like get a bite to eat? So you want to maybe go for some coffee? Like maybe you want to go see a movie, right?
Such a
Right.
turn off.
I know, right? So,
Yeah.
but they were raised to be polite and not be toxic and be acquiescing and be sweet, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So these guys end up alone. They have three guys roommate, and because they're too soft, they've been shamed out of masculinity.
Yeah.
Now, the
Wow.
good news is they could be rehabilitated like this because they're manly enough. You could just give them permission and they just flourish really quickly. Love it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
my
Who's your
favorite part of
favorite?
my work. Yeah. Right. The third types.
Uh-huh.
Now, the third type, ladies, here goes. This is going to
Ooh,
explain
ooh, ooh.
everything you've experienced in your life so far with men
Okay.
if you're masculine. The
Mm-hmm.
third types are what I call boys. These
Mm-hmm.
are grown ass men who refuse to work,
Mm-hmm.
or they struggle with work, or it's so hard for them. And
Mm-hmm.
they have to have women to help them. And they end up moving into your house because the landlord's a douchebag, and they quit their job because his boss a dick, right? And now he's
Mm-hmm.
driving your car because he can't fix this piece of shit. And now you're walking his dog because he won't take care of the dog that's now in your house,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're feminine. They want women to take care of them. You just said that, right? So
Yes.
these guys magnetically attracted to masculine women. Again, it's a yin yang of nature. It works.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
inverted.
Yeah.
Except, these guys are the worst. These are the toxic masculine, by the way.
Yeah.
It's the
But
lack
some
of
women like
mass.
that,
Mm-mm,
correct?
mm-mm.
No
Some
women like
women,
that?
no. What happened is women think so. They're also they're narcissists, the boys,
Yeah.
and they're con men
Mm-hmm.
because their job is to get away with murder. They're trying not to work. They're trying not to put any effort. So they play
Mm-hmm.
victim. They play it's so hard. You don't
Mm-hmm.
understand, right? So women, when you're in your masculine, get this, ladies. This listen to me very carefully. This is
Mm-hmm.
huge if you get it. You may not.
Okay.
It's that when you're in your masculine and you still have a woman's body,
Mm-hmm.
your nurturing instinct goes on steroids.
Okay.
So you end up over helping, over protecting, over mothering, over fucking doing it, right? So all of a sudden, like he's struggling with things. Well, I'll lend him some money. He just needs a chance to get on his feet, right? We could drive my car. He's really struggling right now, and push him into schooling, and he's gonna go for it because you're trying to get him to get on his feet, right? Because
So
you
it's
see
like
the
your
potential.
child again.
It's the fucking child. That's why I call them
Yeah.
boys, right?
Yeah.
So women end up pouring into these guys, pouring time, energy, sex, your body, your everything, and he's just sucking it up, and he's acting like he's you're helping, but literally he's just typically
He knows
he
what
loves
he's doing.
he knows exactly what he's doing. He's
Yeah.
manipulating the shit out of you, and he wants you to be boss babe and get that promotion because it makes his life easier. They're typically artistic personality, but not necessarily to narcissists. It's all about them. So he'll be on the couch spooning the dog, smoking a joint, encouraging you to get that promotion, while
betters
he's
his
gonna
life.
water the plants. Right?
Yeah.
Like the reverse dynamic. Now,
Yeah.
I hate to say this, ladies, if you're masculine, which all of you in this fucking country are raised to be masculine, this is all you're running into. And it's just because your energy is masculine. Now, with all the love in my heart, it breaks my heart to say it. It breaks my heart to see it. But it's what happens because masculine men won't look at you. But those guys would spot you and go, ha, she's the one who's capable. She's a badass. She can make my life easier. And what they do is, as much as men naturally provide, protect, cherish, and give to women support, right? Men pour into women. And that's how you get to feel safe. These guys suck the life out of you. They want your time. They want your money. They want your advice. They want your sex without condition. They don't want to take care of you. They don't want to take care of your kids. They don't want to take care of your dog. They don't want to be responsible for anything. They suck the life out of you. That's why I dislike him. I despise him so much because I want to say this. Masculine women end up hurting themselves.
Yeah.
Because they overpour and they overstress and everything lovely and feminine about them disappears in that boss babe push too hard, compete with the world, and they lose themselves and they burn out.
I believe that.
And in the end, they can't have kids or they don't know how to be feminine, so men aren't interested in them and they're resentful, they're angry, and they feel like no one's helping them, and they're always pouring. Yeah, that's exactly what you do. Not your fault. You're masculine, right? So those feminine men are all about that. They'll spot you a mile away and tell you everything you want to hear to seduce you. But this is the worst thing. Are you ready? This is just on standard. Like, ladies, so if you're with a boy, typically sex goes out the window within a year. Because why? Energetically. You get this. Everything's energy. Everything I'm talking about, everything I'm teaching is nature, not my opinion. Right? Everything's energy. Where if you're mothering, right? Energy, helping him, providing, supporting him, making life easier for him, try to, right? No, you're masculine, right? You'll attract him to be feminine, but what happens is your mother and child energy. And no child wants to fuck his mother. Are you with me?
So true. Yeah, I'm with you.
And no women want that. Doesn't turn you on. So you're in there trying to wake him up to his manhood. So one day he could take care of you. He could make you feel safe, but he never does. That's not who he is. He's not wired that way. He's wired like a girl, and he loves it, and he'll say anything to keep you going, but he has never any intention of changing. So again, you'll find out, this is, God, I tell you stories to make your hair this freaking curly. Like a year, 3 years, 5 years with one of the boys, and she's trying so hard because she sees the potential in him. Ladies, potential is bullshit. Let go of potential. Get who he is instantly. People show who they are really quickly. Right? He's not going to change in 2 years. He's not going to change in 5 years. He's never going to fucking change, right? So pay attention. But we find out a year, 3 years, 5 years later, right? When she finally is so burned out and lost complete respect for him and she doesn't want to help anymore, she throws him out.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Finds out he had a girlfriend the whole time.
Oh, ouch.
Every fucking time. Sorry, I'm cursing because I get pretty passionate about this.
That's fine.
And angry at the same time. It makes me angry.
Yeah.
This is a horrible thing. So women are like double devastated, right? First, they're not getting the dream. They wasted 5 years of their life with a loser. They try everything they could to be nurturing and loving and kind and right? Turning himself inside out, stressed out, burnt out, anxious, edgy, unhappy. And then one day, before she has enough, which is really hard for her to step away
Very hard
from,
to do.
she finds out that he had a girlfriend the whole time. So this is how you destroy a woman. Now, this is
Yeah.
what I say. Masculine women will, when you're stuck in your masculine, you end up really making your life miserable. Like you
Yeah.
destroy your own life. You destroy your own essence, right? So
Yeah.
you pay the price for being stuck in your masculine. Boys who are men in the feminine destroy everything around them. Your life, your hope, your sense of, men, like the damage they cause is all around them. They destroy everything. This is why I despise them so much.
Mm-hmm.
You will hurt yourself, they will hurt everyone around them. They will suck the life out of everything. They're narcissists and they just want to get ahead and don't give a shit. So these guys, I want to shoot them now. Get this. Are you ready? This is
Yeah.
ugly statistics. I'm all about
Okay.
numbers. 30% of the population, American population, is boys. Does that
Wow.
explain something?
Yeah. Explains why we're all so fucked up.
Welcome to my life. Welcome to my world.
Wow.
So there's a way to fix this, understanding boys, guys, and men,
Yeah.
understanding the language that they use to recognize them. The first thing I teach my clients is like you have to spot those.
Yeah.
Because women date, again, not knowing any of this and often being we raise American women to be masculine, period.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's fucked with this because it's not working. Now, not everybody is 100%. There's no such thing, but as a rule, everyone's raised to be a dude.
Yeah.
Go girl, make some money, get ahead, right? You can't count on men. They're cheaters and you can't. So protect yourself first. So
Yeah.
fear driven.
Yeah.
I get it. But is it founded? Right?
Yeah.
Because if you
Yeah.
think men are the enemy, you're done. And that's what's out there. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
go ahead.
So what do you suggest? I mean, what do you suggest that you do, or how do you even recognize that up front? How do you stop yourself from falling into that? Because like you said, a lot of women do want to be in that masculine phase in the office and at work, and they want to be the boss bitch, right? But then they want to come home and you got to switch that off when you come in, right?
Thank you. So the problem is when you get used to doing things your way or a certain way, right? It's visually, until you understand it and practice it, impossible to do the other way.
Yeah.
When you get stuck in your masculine, you don't become lovely at the end of the day. You stay in masculine. You handle everybody. You're bossy. You're pushy. You're disagreeable, right? You're not cooperative. You just take charge.
Right.
My sister's one of those. She looks beautiful, like a pretty, Meg Ryan before she got her face all screwed up, but she opens her mouth and you want to, just want to get away from her. She creates so much tension and she just thinks she's cool. She's an asshole.
Yeah.
A pretty asshole, which is an asshole, right? So, what I see is that it's typically a boy is a boy. He's not going to change gear because that's sort of who he is. A guy's a guy. That's who he is. A man's a man. That's who he is, and he'll deal with shit and reject things as men do, right? So, masculine women think they were raised to be masculine. They're proud of their masculinity. They're proud of their boss babe thing. And they think that men should acquiesce to them. And he has got to meet me up here. Otherwise, I'm not interested. Well, that's fucking ridiculous because that's not how it works with men. And by the way, I'm in Los Angeles, right? Get this.
Yeah.
And so you're in Los Angeles. So my favorite is they come at me with, we're going to be a power couple. We're going to be a power couple, right? So I'm a badass and I'm smart. And together we'll start a business. And the two of us will make a ton of money. I get it. So if you're going to be a boss babe, right? Let's do it with another dude that's got his shit together. And we'll conquer the world and impress our friends with the cars and the house.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yep.
More statistics. These last a maximum of 10 years.
Because
they're man on man.
Yep.
The same thing within a year or two, their sexuality is out the window. They're not sleeping. They don't sleep with each other any longer because they're man on man. Their energy dynamic is neutralized.
And it's all about business.
And they both end up having affairs.
Yeah.
So they make a ton of money, but the personal life, the marriage don't last. So eventually both of them find out that they're having an affair on the outside. And then they go, what are we doing this for? And they it doesn't work, ladies. Whatever's out there in the world, boss babe, soft man, toxic, it doesn't work. So what works? I hate to say, but back to my story, a little more traditional.
Yeah.
What's that mean? A masculine man and a feminine woman. Right?
Yeah.
Right. So look at this. So you understand I come from a world of dancing, right? So look behind me. This is my wife and I, ballroom dancing.
Oh, beautiful.
That is a relationship.
Yeah.
We're not the same. We're not equal. She doesn't do what I do. I don't do what she does.
Yeah.
But we're complementary. We're working together.
Yeah.
It's a partnership. Her part, my part, and together we make
Mm.
deals and understand the part that we both want to contribute to the dynamic so that this works. And just like ballroom dancing, ladies and gentlemen, you have to learn to be in relationships nowadays, because everything they teach you out there will keep you
Mhm.
from doing it.
Wow.
There's
And
a
that's how we were meant to be, feminine and
it's back
masculine. We were,
it's
yeah,
back to nature. That's
I know.
everything I'm teaching is nature, and everything
Yeah.
in nature is yin yang. Masculine, feminine, black, white. Is it the one can exist without the other, but
Mhm.
they come together in polarity. Period.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
everything in nature that grows, that flourishes, that expands is yin yang, masculine and feminine.
Yeah.
And nowhere on the planet, in any species, that the female acts like a male. There's a reason for
Wow.
that. So we think we're better than that. We're gonna equalize this shit. It doesn't work.
Mhm. Doesn't
Now,
work.
the suffering that's causing is what really kills me.
Yeah, for sure.
Women are in pain. What's wrong with me? I'm lovely. I have money.
Yeah.
I'm pretty. I'm no trouble. Right? How
Yeah.
come I can't get a date? Women cannot get a date, or I get ghosted, and I can't get a second date.
Mhm.
So women are hurting because they
Mhm.
don't understand why nobody's stepping up. But
Mhm.
men are ashamed out of stepping up, and the men are lonely. They're freaking lonely, because unless you're a boss guy dude, right? You're
Yeah.
the 10% on top, even 5% on top. Nobody's interested in you,
Wow.
because
It's
women
so
all want the
sad.
top guy.
Yep. Totally.
Okay, I get it, but it's not working.
So let me ask you this then. So
Yeah.
you've talked about like in your
Did I just
yourself,
go?
your
Did I
website.
just go off? I just went off. I'm so sorry.
You just went off a little bit. I'm like, oh, do I
I'm
have
sorry.
questions? I
I'm
don't
sorry.
know.
Make him stop. Make him stop.
You're good. You're good. It's great information. I'm just gonna reel you back into my questions for a second here.
Yes, please reel me back, because
Yes, yes,
you
yes.
push the button. You push the button.
So what do you think? And you've
Yes.
talked about this on your website and stuff. What are the top 3 things that makes a man want to commit to his partner? What do you
But
think those 3
that's an
things are?
adventure, right? It's not what I think. It's what I know.
What you know. Tell
It's
us.
not what I think. Forget what I think. But no, but
Whore.
and it's not an easy way to get there necessarily, right? You have to understand that man's operating system is very different than your operating system. You are
Mhm.
needing connection and safety in order to let go and be vulnerable with a man.
Yep. It's my
I want to
number
say it
one thing,
again.
safety.
All of you. Again, it's
Mhm.
across the board in every nation in the world, even if it's in Zimbabwe, in the bush, in the bushes, the same thing. The feminine is looking for connection and safety, because you need stronger and bigger masculine to protect you from the
Yeah.
tigers.
Hunters and
And if
gatherers.
there's no, we come from that. It's nature again, right? Hunter
Mhm.
gatherers. So in
Mhm.
nature, women on their own don't survive.
Mhm.
So if
Wow.
there's no big, strong man to protect you, and the women don't like you, you're dead.
Yeah.
You're going to be dog food. You're going to be tiger food, bear food, right? Because
Yeah.
if the women don't, you know this, right? If the women don't like you, they'll push you to the tiger.
Yes.
Like, I don't like you, bitch. Fuck you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right. But if no men like you and women don't like you, you're dead, right? So there's
Yeah.
an instinct in women to be pleasing and pleasant up to
Mhm.
like menopause years. There's a whole
Mhm.
chemistry thing that changes there, but pleasing and pleasant and be connected and talking. You connect by talking. That's why you talk so much, not because you have anything to
Mhm.
say. It's because that's how you connect with each other. You do this to
Mhm.
us thinking that's to make you connected. It doesn't work with us. We don't know why
Mhm.
you're talking, right? So the machines are completely different. So you need connection to feel safe.
Mhm.
We don't need connection to feel safe. We don't even understand not feeling safe. We're the bigger
Mhm.
species, right?
Mhm.
What we
Mhm.
need is to get a hold of our own selves, build something, build my
Mhm.
character,
Mhm.
conquer my own fears,
Mhm.
right? Build some confidence, feel that I'm capable.
Mhm.
And that when I can, when I made something of myself, I get self-respect and respect for men and women in my tribe. Two
Mhm.
different machines.
Yeah,
You need
totally.
safety. I need to prove myself.
Yeah.
By the way, that's never changed for us in
Yeah.
our culture. Man's
Yeah.
still expected to provide, protect, right? So we're still expected to be
Yep.
traditional, except in our culture, we teach women to not be traditional, refuse to be traditional. You're better than being a wife and a
Mhm.
mother. Well, how's that going to work, ladies?
Mm.
Stop listening to your feminist friends and your teachers at school. Stop. It's going to
Right.
kill you. You're going to end up a client of mine, 50 years old, no kids, no relationship, and wondering what happened to your life. That's not cute.
Not cute.
I don't wish that on anybody. It's horrible.
Mm.
And then you're going to go out there like online dating. Yeah, good luck with that.
Well, yeah,
Are
that's
you
a
with
whole
me?
nother
So,
thing. I'm
all right.
with you.
So don't get me going that way,
Yeah.
right? So my point is like you have to understand like what makes men commit is a system, instinctual system for us.
Mhm.
that merges our nature. That's what it is. So it's I can't just explain to you here. It's going to go over everybody's head because it's too simplistic to just say it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
men have a kind of checklist, right?
Mm.
The checklist is like, something like, can I really provide for her?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if I'm not capable of providing for her, he's not getting hooked up on you. Like he knows
Mm-hmm.
that he can't, so he won't do it. And you see men, women will say this all the time, like, we love each other. Why would we get married? I'm not ready.
Mm-hmm.
But what does it matter? We love each other. They're like, I'm not ready.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I can't provide for you
Mm-hmm.
yet. I'm working
Yeah.
on it, right?
Yeah.
But so men have a timeline, men have a system, men have a plan,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's an A, B, C to grow into a dynamic with a woman who gets him.
Mm-hmm.
When you start going, he's going to meet me up here, you don't get him. You don't
Yeah.
understand men one bit, and it's all about you. That's not going to
Yeah.
work, ladies.
Yeah.
You show up with that arrogance, men are going to go, okay. And my
Yeah.
favorite is like, what do you bring to the table? I don't have to bring anything to the table. I bring me to the table. And
Oh.
next, like, that's ridiculous, right? Like, there's a
Yeah.
reason one man is going to spend his life, his energy, his resources on keeping you safe and protected and raise his children alongside him. That's not casual. It's not cute. He doesn't
Mm-hmm.
owe you anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And get this. Are you
Yep.
ready? Whew. I'm just going off here. I'm so sorry.
Go for it.
I hope if people are triggered, just know that I love you. It's just that I get really pumped up with this stuff. It's so not right what's out there. But
Yeah.
get this. So, are you ready?
Yeah.
So, out there in the world,
Mhm.
right? Women control access to sex,
Okay. True.
right? So
Yes.
if you don't decide you're not having sex, nobody's having sex.
Correct.
Women control access to sex.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is, ladies. Men control access to the relationship.
Mm. Ooh.
Not you.
Am I going to get some booing on this?
I'm just saying, not you. You don't get to say he needs to meet me up here. He goes,
Yeah.
get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I don't mean what are you going to bring to my life? Like, there's an
Mhm.
exchange. There's a dance here, ladies.
Mm-hmm.
And you think that the world owes you, not one thing. You think a man owes you, men owe you nothing. And the guy who's making $200,000, and you think, well, that's the guy who's going to meet me up here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my favorite line, I deserve a high value man. I go, no, you don't.
You hear that all the time.
No, he did it. You didn't
Yeah.
do it. So
Yeah.
you deserve that. Why? Because you're vagina? Because
Yeah.
you're pretty?
Yeah.
What do you bring to him, right? So a guy like this who's very capable, who can't conquer himself and fought 20 years to get there,
Mm-hmm.
it's not a pretty face and a vagina that's going to make him marry.
Mm-hmm.
It's a woman who supports his effort, who gets him, right? Who's
Mhm.
his peace. I'm going to say it again. The woman who's his peace.
Yes.
Men settle where there's peace. And if you're going to be boss babe, disagreeable, not
There's no
cooperative,
peace.
and like meet me up here, get the hell. You deserve nothing. And my favorite, like, I deserve it. No, you don't deserve anything. You're
Mm-hmm.
worthy of it.
Yes.
But what are you bringing for him to go, wow, this
Yeah.
woman, is a partner. This woman knows how to support me, and the way men is to be supported. And the way you support a man is different than you support a woman. But
Mhm.
if you get him, support his effort, respect him, a huge one that nobody understands, because
Mhm.
what disrespects men doesn't disrespect you. So you're completely blind to how you disrespect us all the time. The same
Mhm.
way we hurt your feelings all the time, we don't understand. Well, that's not what I said. What are you talking about? I can't tell you anything, right? Like, we constantly hurt your feelings, but we don't understand why. There's right?
Mhm.
You ladies, I'm gonna say, you disrespect the shit out of us all the time,
Mhm.
and you all know you're doing it. But
Mm.
that's one way that men go, not her, And
Yeah.
they want to explain to you, they're just gonna step back. And you wonder where the good men are, right? Like, so this has to be learned, just like ballroom dancing. You have to
Mhm.
learn how this works. Because if I decide that, if you and I decide to dance and we're not trained, right?
Yeah.
How are
Yeah.
you gonna cha-cha without somebody teaching you the cha-cha?
Yeah.
You can't, right? We're just
Right.
gonna
You
look at
gotta
each
learn it
other,
together.
right? How do you hold? Where's the steps?
Mhm.
In the beginning,
Mhm.
when you learn, guess what? You step on each other's toes and you bang your
Mhm.
knees together, and right? It's funny because it's
Mhm.
clunky, but then it takes a moment to get in sync, to
Yeah.
get the rhythm, to get the understanding, to get the connection and the driving, right?
Mm.
The language of communication that is nonverbal. That takes a minute, right?
Yeah, yeah. So
So you have to
basically,
learn. You
yeah,
have to
so
learn.
basically it's the man finding that he is the provider, the protector, he's in a good place there. Then you
Yeah.
have the peace from the woman over here because she's in her feminine energy. And the two of those combined together,
Right. Now
makes
there's a
it.
bunch of layers on both sides that kind of like like
Yeah.
kind of merge together, right?
Yeah.
It's what she brings to him that he doesn't have naturally,
Mhm.
that he delights, and vice versa.
Yin yang. Yeah.
No, there's a bunch of like connectors,
Yeah.
but there's 5 or 6 that are huge first.
Mhm.
That if you don't meet
Wow.
those, he's gonna deal with you. He's gonna play with you. He's gonna be your boyfriend for 5 or 6 years. But if he never
Mhm.
wants to marry you, there's a deal breaker.
Yeah.
And most men know exactly what that is, right? But
Yeah.
if you ask them, I have one guy, he's engaged with this chick in LA, of course, like
Uh-huh.
18 years.
Wow.
What the fuck is that, right?
What is
So,
that?
so I say to her, I'm like, and she's a little pain in the ass, thinks she's cool,
Is that
influencer.
why?
Totally, she's a
Yeah.
she's a little tiny little cute thing, but she's a
Mhm.
freaking dude. My
Mhm.
sister, just different color hair, right? Pain in the ass, bossy, pushy, disagreeable,
Mhm.
right? Just everything we hate about men. That's
Mhm.
her. And that's bossy women tend to be like this, right? We don't
Yeah.
like the qualities that we don't like about ourselves. You throw that at me, you think that's gonna work,
Right.
right? You don't want men to be masculine, but it's okay for you to be masculine? No,
Yeah. Yeah.
no, right? No, right? So masculinity is toxic, but you can be toxic.
Yeah.
Hello. Anyway, so just going on. So 18 years together,
Mhm.
right? And I see him, and I can see he's kind of a dork, right? So
Mhm.
she's much prettier than he is. So she's a
Mhm.
trophy. I totally see it. She's a trophy, even though she's a pain in his ass, right?
Yeah.
And anyway, I look at her and I go, so what the hell is going on here? She's, oh, I just don't need that. I'm like, yeah, okay. I don't believe that one bit, right? She's 18 years engaged. Yeah, because you don't need marriage. Yeah.
Yeah.
You trying to convince me or you here, right? So that's crap. What it
Yeah.
is this one deal breaker with him, with her, I promise you.
Mhm.
There's one thing that he refused to deal with, and it's that deal breaker. He refuses to pull the trigger.
Wow.
It's hurting her. It's
Yeah.
making her looking weird and stupid, and she's wasting her time. They really don't have, he could just walk away, and she's gonna
Yeah.
have, right? Like,
Yeah.
which just makes someone very unsafe, right?
Mhm.
But I'm telling you, he's not marrying her. He's never gonna.
And that's so sad. That's
I
18
know.
years of her life gone, that
That'd be
she's
interesting.
wasting.
But that'd be interesting to have a conversation because there's something that he needs from her that he's not getting.
Yeah.
And they can't get it together, obviously, because they don't eat, like, she doesn't know what it is. And
Yeah.
he's, like I said, kind of mousy. So you may not be
But
able
he's
to just,
comfortable and
right. Because
placeholder.
she plays his wife, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
She plays a good little wife in his house kind of thing. She does all the
Mhm.
duties except no commitment. But I'm telling
Mhm.
you, like, there's a really good, I know it. There's a really good reason why he refused to give her that. And
Yeah.
that's his way of saying, not okay with you.
Yeah.
Not okay with you. I'll tolerate you, but I'm
Yep.
not okay with you. That's all he's doing.
Wow.
No, that's not cool.
No, not cool at all. But
But
also she needs to recognize that as well, and
she thinks she's
get the
cool.
fuck
She thinks
out.
she's boss babe. She thinks she's all that shit. And, she, whatever. I'm just saying. So I'm going to tell you, none of this is really complicated. None of this is really complicated.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tricky parts. I'm going to tell you this, right? There's a lot
Yeah.
of tricky parts to get to understand the dance, but
Mhm.
like ballroom dancing or whatever, any kind of dancing, where you're two into one,
Mhm.
right? You have to learn. And it's
Yeah.
not knowing how to dance together. So what
Mm.
people do nowadays, this is what I see, right? I call it
Mhm.
like, they don't ballroom dance, they don't tango dance, they do club dancing. What's club
Mm.
dancing? You're on the floor facing each other, but you don't
Yeah.
touch.
Not touch.
And you
Mhm.
do, you turn
Yeah.
around, and you're not even together anymore, but you're together, but they
Mhm.
move in together because, they want to save money. It's
Sure.
convenient. They don't want to get
Yep.
married because it may not last, but because there's
Yeah.
no commitment, it won't last. They don't
All the
share
wrong
bank
reasons.
accounts. They don't share bank accounts. They're not stepping in. There's no reason. So you're gonna get annoyed and pissed off with anybody you're dealing with. Period. Nobody's
Mhm.
perfect. Everybody's got their own little quirks, right? So
Mhm.
if you're gonna be chicken shit
Mhm.
and fake a relationship by moving in, waiting for you to not be happy any longer, than moving on,
Mhm.
you're done. That's the rest of your life. Like,
Yeah.
you have to step in. You have to take a chance. You have to learn how to dance.
Yep.
Like now, and it's seemingly men understand this much better. I don't know
Mhm.
why, but get this, like every businessman knows in order for him to succeed big, he's got to take big chances.
Mhm.
And he knows that.
Yeah.
But typically it's calculated choice, right? He's got things lined up. He understands the market. He understands the thing. He understands the chances. A man's not going to put his ass on the line unless it's about 80% sure that it's going to work out, even though there's 20% chance we could lose everything, right? But it's
Yeah.
calculated. That's how they do women.
Right.
Do you understand?
Yeah, I
It
do.
has to be working. So, and understand, men understand, unless I take a chance,
Mhm.
this could fail, right? We
Mhm.
could get divorced.
But you
We could
get-
get in
but-
a disaster. But unless you step in,
Yeah,
you
you're
got
never gonna
nothing.
know. You got
You
nothing.
got nothing. And you will
Yeah.
fall apart because you're not, there's no
Yeah.
reason to go through the rough stuff,
Yeah.
you know, to hang on to it and build together and really
Yeah.
learn to dance. But
Wow.
get this, because it cracks me up. People are, again, the culture is a fucking culture, right? People
Yeah.
think unless it's really fun and easy, it's the wrong person.
Yeah.
That is the stupidest
They don't
thing.
want to put in the work. Mhm.
Well, it's not even that. They think if it's not fun and easy and, you know, natural, then it's unnatural and or it's not meant to be or it's the wrong
Mhm.
person, right?
Mhm.
Really, really.
Mhm.
Now, all the relationship that succeeded 20, 30, 50 years,
Mhm.
it's not because they were smooth and happy the whole time.
Right.
It's the exact opposite. It's in the conflict resolution
Yeah.
that they get closer.
Yes.
It's when you fair fightly, and instead of trying to win, destroy the other one because you want to win, that you have each other's back and
Yes.
the other's interest.
Huge.
So you could fight because you will, because we're
Mhm.
normal, we're humans, and everybody's got their shit and their quirks, right? It's not
Mhm.
that you're not gonna. It's always gonna be smooth and easy, and you know, pink roses and la di da, right? That's not it
Yeah.
at all. Life isn't like this at all, right? But
Yeah.
it's if it's what do you do when there's conflict? Are you a fair player?
Yeah.
Can you play fair? Can you fight fairly, right?
Mhm.
And having
Mhm.
it wanting to fix it as opposed to trying to win or bully somebody or refuse to be whatever, right?
Mhm.
So it's in the conflict resolution. It's also part of the work that I teach. How do you how do there's like there's script on how
Mhm.
to do this.
Yeah.
Scripts, because on our own we suck at communication, right? But
Right.
again, shit happens. We respectfully kind of set each other up and
Mhm.
have a conversation, exchange of what happened when you did
Mhm.
this. Was what happened to me. It made me feel like this. That was horrible. Oh, well, that's what I said, but that's not what I meant. But it happens to
Mhm.
men all the time. Or I didn't say anything, and you thought I was. That's not right. But it's as opposed to yelling at each other, like you kind of talk about it, right, and explain
Yes.
each other. And again, it's the fact that now you resolve that problem. That you go like this.
Mhm.
Doop,
Yeah. Because there's a
doop.
difference between a disagreement and argument too. That disagreement, you can bring yourselves together. When you're arguing, fighting, and unfairly, that's not going to happen. You're not going to have
Right.
that same resolution.
But again, most people don't know how to communicate, never mind
Yeah.
negotiate or play
Yeah.
fair. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get furious, you start elevating, and so
Yeah.
this is what doesn't work. And people kind of typically fall into what doesn't work more, and because they're
Yeah.
frustrated, angry, and now he's going to get it or she's going to get. So the couples that have long-term relationships
Mhm.
know how to fight
They
fairly, know how to negotiate, know how to talk about the stuff that's sticky,
they know how to
right?
dance.
They know how to dance. Look at that.
Yeah. Look at
And
that.
then and when they struggle with a step,
Yeah.
they talk about it. They figure it out together.
Yeah.
And again, couples that have been together like 50 years, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're so intertwined. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
This is when grandma dies, grandpa dies right after because he's lost without her. They're so
Yeah.
integrated,
Yeah.
right? They almost don't have a sense of self anymore. They're just
Yeah.
us. It's us. It's a beautiful thing. They're
Mm.
missing part of the couple. So it's not, there's nothing to live for. They just want to go. Now,
Right.
if that happens through years of click, 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 conflict resolution, making deals, talking about it.
Mhm.
You know, when you do this, I don't like it. When you do so, if you do this, I'll do this. You
Mhm.
know, like I'll take this if you take that, right? It's all.
Yeah.
So again,
Yeah.
the model that works best to this day, back to nature, is it's a more traditional frame
Mhm.
of the dance, right?
Mhm.
With all
Mhm.
the modern adjustments.
Mm.
There's a modern way to do what works best because we live in modern times. It's not taking you back to the 50s. I get
Mhm.
accused of that all the time. They say, "Oh, should we just dumb it down for you guys?" I'm like, that's rude. That's not what I said. It's stupid.
Right. Right.
Listen to me, right? They're trying to make me wrong. No,
Yeah.
there's a modern way to do this that actually
Uh-huh.
works. By the way, I don't know if you know this, but I also officiate weddings. I'm an ordained minister.
Okay.
So this summer, this is just kind of, I'm now showing off. I'm showing off, right?
Yeah.
Last summer, I flew to Texas to marry a couple that I worked with for a couple of years. And I went to Vegas to marry another couple. What I teach works.
Okay.
So much so that people get married. Women
Oh, you
who
brought them
had no
together.
options. Yes. I'm
Yes.
the one, they did the work. Well, she did the work first. She was masculine. Like both, they're all the same. They're coming masculine. They don't understand why men don't, but they don't know they don't know how to date men. They don't know how to be with men. They don't know how to not disrespect men because you don't know how to not do that because you don't know how that works. Anyway, right? And then you don't know what makes a man commit and what a man needs to commit. And so not knowing any of that, it's a shit show, especially if you're masculine. Like, because masculine men will just keep walking away from you. You won't even get to meet them.
Right.
So like when women come at me with, this is my life, this, and I want companionship, I want a husband, I want, you know what I mean? I go, oh, okay, it's cool, it's easy. Sign here.
Let's talk.
Sign here. Let's go. Do you know what I mean? And again, so they go from masculine to, I help this. So what happened is I find this is the visual that I give. It's like masculine, feminine. We both have both inside of us. We both have both. We know this.
Yeah.
And it's not masculine and feminine as in gender. Masculine, feminine is an energy. And as a rule, women carry more feminine energy if you're normal, and men carry more masculine energy if you're normal. That's nature again, right?
Yes.
But masculine women are like this.
Yes.
Completely tilted.
That's
Completely neglected their femininity. It's usually based in childhood trauma, honestly. It's always bad daddy, right? Unsafe in the world, no daddy, bad daddy, whatever. So it starts at 5, 6, 7 years old. This happens because of your life as a child, not because of men.
Yeah.
But then it becomes the loop, right? So it's not about, so my work is not to undo this one I'm talking about, the one in Texas, badass fucking production monster, but miserable and tired and alone, right? I go, babe, we're not gonna undo this. No, you're amazing, right?
Yeah.
So we got to keep this going, but we can cultivate this side.
Level it out.
And here we go again. Are you ready? So this is one of my crass lines that I use all the time. I go, you could be a boss bitch. That's fine. Except by the time you're done with work, you have to leave your balls at work.
It's true.
Because you go in the world with your balls in everybody's face, put your balls in my face, see what happens.
Yeah.
I will shut you down so quick. I will shut you down so quick. I'll just like go, yeah, okay, and walk away from you. Like, it's so irritating. But women think in our culture that men like this. The boys will love it,
but not the men.
Because they go, oh, she's gonna take care of me. Right?
Yeah.
So like, you could be a boss, babe, but know when to change gear. In my world, a true boss, right, is a woman who knows she has to be masculine to work and produce. Yeah. Good for you. You go, girl. I'm supporting you. Yeah. But know how to change gear in the world. Yeah. Because if you want a man who's a man, you will not tolerate or even look your way if you approach him like a dude. Non-cooperative, disrespectful. He will literally just look you up and down and walk away without saying a word. And you wonder where the men are. Well, they're all around you, except you repulse them. Yeah. You repulse them not knowing.
So bring the feminine home with you.
That's just bring back that dance. So you know how to be this appropriately, you know how to do this appropriately. And again, that boss babe in Texas, whoop, right? And she's got a big old honking of a Texas man, take care of her real good. And she's just like, he does everything. I have to do nothing. I work and he'll take care of it. And she knows how to ask him for support, that he just is happy to do it as opposed to have to nag. And
but she'll never get that true love that she's wanting, the commitment.
What's that?
Oh, you're talking about the marriage one. I was thinking.
Yeah, don't see it down. The other one doesn't know how to do that. This one is married now, and they're traveling together, and everything she's ever wanted. Yeah. With a masculine man, knowing exactly how to respect him, to not piss him off, and how to negotiate, to talk about stuff that's tedious. And you know, when you know how to do this, it's not that. And they all say this. They go, you know, on the other side of the program, they're like, God, like, it's so much easier that like we just like nobody taught us this. I know it's not your fault. Yeah, you just have to learn, like ballroom dancing. If you don't know how to dance, you never learn how to dance. Go dance. Go take a freaking class, right? Like learn how to do this, so you know how to do this. But it's the exact opposite of what's in the culture.
So speaking of dancing, I like to talk about sex. You know, that's a good dance. That's a good dance. And so I want to get to that. We have so much more to talk about, and I love having you here. You've given us so much great information.
You get me going. Jeez.
So I would love for you to come back and do another episode with me because I'm
Yeah.
going to jump into the sex talk because
Oh,
I think you
please.
probably got some good stuff for me on that one.
Yeah. And stuff that's, again, not out there, that
Not out
confuses
there.
women and that makes men pull back as opposed to pull in. Ho!
Amazing.
Ho!
Whoa.
Ho! That should be a hook right there.
That should be a hook. I love it. All right. So tell us right now where we can find you. Give us some of your handles, your websites, all that
Okay.
good stuff. And then we're going to have you back.
Yes. So a couple of things. So my website is projectequinox.net.
Okay.
Equinox is the perfect balance between night and
Balance.
day and
Ooh,
night, right?
see what you
Masculine and
did
feminine.
there.
So thank you. I thought that was cool.
Ah,
That was
nice.
clever. But I have a gift for you listeners, if that's okay.
Of course. We love
Right.
it.
So I do a lot of podcasting because, again, I have my business is great,
Uh-huh.
but it's not this. My mission is greater.
Okay.
So I got a God mission, a download a few years back. I used to resent the hell out of it because I'm like, really? That's that all?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the mission is I'm responsible, along with other disruptors and your help right now, by spreading hope out there that this is actually not right.
Yeah.
What's out there does not work.
Yeah.
And there's actually a way to make all this work. So the message is to actually change the cultural pace of the belief that don't work. So back a little bit more traditional, like I'm talking about, in a modern way, right? So like I said, women are suffering, men are lonely. Like none of this is working. So the God mission is to make this nationwide, eventually worldwide. I call it Oprah big.
Yeah.
Like this message needs to be Oprah big to recalibrate men and women into be able to build healthy bond, to build healthy families, to raise healthy children who can actually go on and create other healthy bonds with other adults. And this is how you keep a culture thriving. What's happening out there is destroying everything. So culture and society is collapsing. When family system collapse, culture collapses. So God mission is to recalibrate. Okay. So thank you for your help because you're helping me spread the word.
Yes, of
There
course.
is help. There is a way to do this. There is hope for both men and women, right? So that's why I do podcasts. I just spread the word
Beautiful.
until I get a TV show or some shit. I'm gonna go, whatever.
Yeah.
So I notice through all these podcasts, there seems to be two type of listeners on podcasts. There's people who are listening for information. They want information. They're curious. You know what I mean? Like this guy's talking relationship. Let's go find out what he's got to say, right? They're curious.
Yeah.
So for you curious listeners, I'm going to
Yes.
send you directly to my email address.
Okay.
If you email me directly at Andre, Andre, coaching, COACHING, Andre coaching, the number 1 at Gmail. In the subject box, you write Irresistible Book. I will send you, it's a book that I wrote. It's called The 5 Feminine Qualities High Value Men Find Absolutely Irresistible. This is a book for my work with men, right? To talk about what they find irresistible, ladies. This is a workbook. It's about 30 pages. It's like stuff for you to write notes and kind of, it's a workbook.
Yeah.
I sell it on my website. If you're curious, want some information, Andre Coaching 1, Irresistible Book, I'll send you a copy. It's
Beautiful.
really good.
Oh,
And
that's
it's
amazing.
I think so. And it's just men talking, not me.
Yeah.
It's the men that I interview, right? So it's not about your boobs. It's about your butt. It's not about your blonde hair. It's the qualities. It's a vibration.
Yes.
You have to know this, ladies, because
love it.
again, you don't know this. Anyway, that's one.
That's a great offer. Thank you for that.
I think so. Like I said, it's free if anybody calls, sends me a note. The other listeners that I notice are typically people who I said something, they go, oh, okay, right? It resonated on some level, right? Maybe like boys things, like you're always attracting boys, whatever it is, right? So there are people that get excited and they're listening because they want help and they resonate with some of the stuff I said and they want to step in. They want to take action.
Yep.
So if you want to take action as a person, Andre Coaching 1, in the subject box, write talk now. And what I'll do is I'll send you a link to my calendar. You will book yourself an hour like this on Zoom, and we'll have a conversation about where you're stuck. And I'm really good at this because it's always a childhood trauma that has you as a woman stuck in your masculine and for feminine men, right? So we literally, in 50 minutes, we get to the source of where the wheels came off for you that you completely forgot about. Yeah. Right? And then you realize, it's so cool. That call, I'm telling you. Like, you realize there's nothing wrong with you. Yeah. Like, women who come at me, like, what's wrong with me? And then they start to think that there's something wrong with them, right? There's nothing
Right.
wrong with you. You're part of your past,
Right.
right? So if we understand what happened there, the good news is we can fix it.
Yeah.
This is the work that I
Perfect.
do, right?
Yeah.
So then, so now we know there's nothing wrong with you. You're a product of this,
Yeah.
your parents, your dad, whatever, right? And the man that went after that. So what's the dream?
Mm.
Oh, the dream is relationship, kids, or long-term companionship, right? Whatever it turns out.
Yeah.
So then we'll talk about what that looks like if you
How
want
to
to get
get there.
invested in me. There's different ways to, step into the work, small, medium,
Mhm.
large.
Mhm.
But that call alone for some people, just even if we don't end up working together, which
Sure.
it's an honor for me just to bring clarity and
Yeah.
a feeling of like it's this hope. That call alone for some people just changed their lives.
Yeah.
Because they're liberated for the hell's what's wrong with me. So I
Yeah.
encourage
I think the hope
anybody.
is amazing. Yeah.
It's essential. It's essential.
Yeah.
And like I
Yeah.
said, it takes a little more courage maybe to call on the phone,
Yeah.
one-on-one, but this is me. Like I'm gonna talk to you the same way I'm talking to you now. Like
Yeah.
this I'm here to help,
Right.
and
So why not?
and take it or leave it. I'm busy. Like it's not
Yeah.
about trying to sell you anything, but if you want to join the system, the community, and
Yeah.
what's
Go for it.
available, well, I mean, it's your
I
life.
love it. I love it. And I'll have all
Thank
this
you.
information listed on the description of the episode as
Yeah,
well for people to
'cause
follow up
yeah,
after.
because of TikTok and Instagram and YouTube
Yeah.
Shorts, and if you go Google my name, podcast on Andre Paradis, is an avalanche,
Yeah.
and so just saying, it's
Amazing.
thank you.
So good. So good. Okay. So you're going to come back with me again, because we're going
Okay,
to talk about the sex stuff, right? So we're going to
okay,
say goodbye to the peeps for now, but we
put
will
down.
be back. Thank you guys for joining us on From Mrs. to Ms. Again, you can email me at info@frommrs2ms.net. You can find me on social media at from.mrs.to.ms. So we will talk to you guys soon, and we'll have Andre back with us here. Thanks, guys. Bye.